Good morning. Thank you for coming out on such a beautiful but frosty morning. And welcome to our warm and environmentally conscious heated buildings. It's all heat pumps, so we're glad to be here. My name is Archie George. I've been associated with this congregation since 1985 when Harold Rosen, a running buddy of mine, asked me to sign the membership book because he needed my vote to buy the building. And I don't remember if it was as close as he thought it would be, but he was really, really amazed when he visited recently for the dedication. And we're so proud that he got the ball rolling on this. I've been associated with the annual stewardship pledge for many years, and I've kept track of just the pledges, and recently been asked to be more involved in collection and projections for funding and budgetary decisions. So it gives me great pleasure to be here today in this time, talent, and treasure annual stewardship celebration. And thank you for all your support. It's just amazing how generous people are. It's always humbling, and it's inspired me to give more myself, just seeing how generous everyone is. Can y'all hear me okay? Is it coming good through? Okay. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all those who are joining us for the first time. We are very glad you are here. If you've come in person, you should have received a welcome packet with the information on it, an information card in it. Fill that out and drop it in the offering basket. We will be in touch to support you in finding your way into our community. If you're joining us online, there's a link on our website to an electronic version of that same card. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags. You may have noticed them when you came in. They can answer any questions and point you toward additional information. Whether you are new or not, please consider staying for a coffee and conversation after the service, either downstairs in our fellowship hall or in the Zoom chat rooms. And now let's say our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or your 1000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you joined us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. Now, we'll take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you are home, please turn on your camera now. People at home, wave. Now, people who are attending the service in our building, it's your turn to wave. Oh, that's great. Great enthusiasm. We do have a couple of announcements. Please note the left-hand side of our sanctuary is reserved for those who wish to wear masks and to sit with others wearing masks. Masks are available at either entrance. November is the month when we ask people to pledge their financial support for the coming year, so we can put together an operating budget, which we're going to do within the next couple of weeks. You should have received a mailing with materials to support your pledging process. Please let us know if you didn't. Meanwhile, all this month, a member of the stewardship team will host a table in the fellowship hall directly downstairs after the service where you can trade a pledge card for a chocolate truffle. Or if you've sent yours in, you can simply pick one up. It's on the honor system. So, and we especially invite young people who can have that process explained to them, and they'll get a truffle too. As usual, our goal is not to give until it hurts, but to give until it feels good, knowing that our ministry is a vital and necessary one here on the Palouse. Know too that your support at whatever level feels good to you right now matters. None of us could keep the ship afloat on our own. It takes all of us, each doing our part. And it's again time for Christmas for Kids. The children made beautiful gift tags, and the sign-up sheets are available during coffee hour. Purchased gifts will also be collected during this time through December 10th. If there is anyone who wants to participate that doesn't want to shop, a check to UUCP with CFK in the memo line will be used to purchase gifts for the children. Here end the announcements. We preface our service by acknowledging our church was built on the ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse Neshitshumi, called the Coeur d'Alene. Let us pause to remember that we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was stolen, ground that cries out for justice and for responsible stewardship. May our remembering help us find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. We are hoping folks joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let us light our chalices together. Say with me, in the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Stevens, and I have the unparalleled privilege of serving this congregation as its minister. As Archie indicated, we are in the midst of our stewardship season, which means we're asking people to pledge financial support for our congregation and our ministry. But I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that this place doesn't just run on money. It runs actually on people, and particularly, specifically, volunteer people like all of you. We talk about the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. By time, we mean any investment of energy and presence. Maybe you help set up or clean up for coffee hour, or you participate in a small group. Perhaps you work with one of the many committees and teams, such as Building and Grounds, the Welcoming Committee, the Aesthetics Committee, the Worship Committee, the Finance Team, the Safety Team, the Committee on Ministry, the Board of Trustees. The list goes on. Or perhaps you sign up for one-time volunteer opportunities with Family Promise or the Warming Shelter, or you staff the booth at Ren Fair, the Pride Festival, or you bring food or give rides to church families that are struggling or have medical needs. It is a long list, and it's ever evolving. And hopefully you know to pay attention to the announcements and emails so that when you have time or energy to offer, you can figure out where you fit. Just like with money, treasure, the third T, we don't want people to give until it hurts. I'm not a fan of burnout, and I know how overwhelming life is right now. But we do our best to offer opportunities for everyone to participate in ways that feel good. As for talent, that's about sharing your specific skills and gifts. Singing in the choir, hanging your paintings in our mini art gallery, helping with IT or the sound system or the website, or doing our graphic design. Your lay pastoral ministry team got special training and now offer their gifts to anyone who needs a compassionate listener. The guide for discerning how to do this should be the same. Does it feel good? Does it feel good to offer your gifts? Then we will gladly accept them. But if you feel stressed or resentful, that's a sign that you may be giving too much. It's okay to say no. And it's also okay to ask to be paid if doing something for free feels like being exploited. This beautiful community is a shared labor of love, and everyone has a part in it. Today's service offers a chance to reflect on what you are giving or might want to give in terms of time and talent, and it celebrates two miracles. Somehow, when we all give what feels right and good, we have more than we need, and through some magical process, what we create together becomes more than the sum of the parts. So settle in and know that what we do matters because what you do matters. I invite you now to rise and bow your spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 1000 in the Teal hymnal, Morning Has Come.
As mentioned, we're in the midst of stewardship season. I'd like to invite Lisa Salisbury forward to offer a testimonial.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Salisbury. I use she, her pronouns. And I've been a member of this church for almost as long as my family and I have lived in Moscow, almost 18 years now. Well, we've lived in Moscow over 18 years, but we first came to the church actually about 18 years ago, almost exactly. We came in November of 2005. Pam Bettis and Jim Gregson, who some of you may remember, invited us to come. And we came because we had 2 young children. Our son Luke was 3, our daughter Maya was 6, and our family lived very far away. Tom's family is in Wisconsin, my family is in the UK, and we were looking for community. We were looking for community to raise our kids in. Both of us grew up in faith traditions that just didn't feel quite right to us, and we were looking for a liberal, progressive, warm, inclusive, generous community to be a part of. And so we came here and felt instantly at home, got involved right away. I think Ginger asked us about a month after we first came here to be youth group leaders. And so we started doing that, started leading the high school youth group. We taught RE for many years, and we've also participated in the church on several different committees and boards. Tom's been a board member. He's also been a part of the Sunday Worship Committee. He's now part of the Building and Grounds Committee. I've been on the care team for a while, and I'm also part of the Month of Sundays Committee, in addition to teaching RE and being part of the youth group for many years. And I can't even begin to express what this community has meant to us. It's shaped our entire lives here. We've made probably the closest and best friends we've ever had through this church. Our kids grew up in this church, and even though they're not involved anymore, the lessons that they learned in this church about being kind and generous and compassionate have turned them into 2 really wonderful young adults who actually are still here in our community. Maya just moved back after finishing her master's degree in Texas and is now working at WSU and living in town. And Luke is a senior at University of Idaho. But even though they don't come to the church, many of those lessons that they learned here are lessons that they carry forward in their lives. They both attended the middle and high school OWL programs, and then in high school they became peer educators for Planned Parenthood and would travel around local area high schools, educating their peers on healthy relationships. And those lessons have served them well in their own relationships too, applying those boundaries and knowing what they want out of a romantic relationship has been a really critical life lesson for them. So yes, I other than just saying that this community, I feel, has given us so much more as a family than we could ever hope to give, and we reciprocate because we love this church and because it's an integral part of feeling like we belong in this community. Everyone in our town knows our community. They know how involved we are. You know, our area has over 150 nonprofits, and the folks who are in this room today and on Zoom are on the boards of a significant chunk of those nonprofits. So I think that just indicates our desire to contribute to the community and to help shape the community to be the vibrant, loving place that it is today. One more thing that I will say, to me in my job, I work at the University of Idaho Women's Center. I'm the director there. I've been there for as long as we've lived in town. And one of the core issues that to me is super important is pay equity. And as someone who was underpaid for a significant chunk of my working life, I feel that salary parity is critical to be able to advance a just and fair world. And so a big part of why we're increasing our pledge is because we value the labor that our church staff give, not just to our church community, but to our entire community. We value that deeply. I believe that everyone should be paid a comparable worth salary. They should be paid for the skills that they bring to our community. And we have some incredible, incredible staff here. Our music is beyond compare. Our children's programming is outstanding. And they're committed. They've been here a long time, and they deserve to make more than just a living wage. They deserve to be paid well for the efforts that they put out there. So I encourage you, as Archie said, to give joyfully, not until it hurts, but until it feels good. And we're certainly happy to be raising our pledge to an amount that feels good for us to give, and we're happy to do that to help sustain this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Now let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity. For those of you who are able to make a financial contribution, especially if you're not in attendance and can't put an offertory in the basket, logistics are on your screen. We typically give away all the cash from our Sunday offering to local charities whose mission align with our values, a program we call the Month of Sundays. This month, the recipient is Inland Oasis, a volunteer organization providing support to the LGBTQ plus community, including the West Side Food Pantry, a community center and emergency fund for those in immediate need, a youth support group, social activities like drag bingo and game nights. If you donate, please indicate Month of Sundays on your check or from the drop-down menu or the panels if you see it on the web. And again, if you indicate Month of Sundays, that will be distributed to the Inland Oasis. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take some time to practice generosity together.
Thank you, Rodney. I invite you to get out the piece of paper that you should have received when you came in, and a pen or a pencil, something to write with. If you're joining us on Zoom, the questions are going to show up on your screen, so you'll just need some scrap paper and something to write with. If you need a writing utensil, I think we're grabbing those. Raise your hands and Martha and Elizabeth can bring you one. Anyone need a pen? Raise your hand. Margaret needs one. Marissa. Here we go. We've got more papers. We're just going to give it a minute until everybody's squared away. All right, we good? So now that we have our pen and our paper, I'd like us to center down, because you'll see there are two questions we're going to be reflecting on, but I don't want us to answer with our heads. I want us to listen for answers that whisper in our hearts. So I invite you to begin floor, feeling the chair supporting your body. You might close your eyes. You might bring shoulders up, back, and down. You might take a few deep breaths. And before we begin, I want to check in and see if you are holding a sense of overwhelm anywhere in your body. Sometimes life just feels like it is too much, so feel into that overwhelm. Where in your body do you hold the stress? And you might take a few breaths into that place. See if it can soften, melt, become just a little less dense. See if you can breathe space into that overwhelm so that it's a little lighter and easier to hold. Because here's the thing, when we are feeling overwhelmed, sometimes the best thing we can do is to find one small way forward, one tiny way to serve the world, to plant a seed of joy and purpose. We've paused the endless list of have-tos so that we can listen in our hearts for a want to. Can you hear a sense of call? Frederick Buechner has said that the place to which we are called is the place where our deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So ask that place deep inside of you, is there something concrete and manageable that you would enjoy doing, that you would greatly enjoy doing, that might also benefit others? And this might be something you are already doing, or it might be something new. And if something comes up, I invite you to write it down as the answer to that first question. Next, I invite you to imagine a light at your center, your source of creativity, the seat of your wisdom. Reflect for just a moment on what makes you, you. What are your unique insights, gifts, talents, and skills? Is there something within you that is longing to come forth, to be witnessed and celebrated by your community? Is there a gift you are longing to offer? And if so, I invite you to write it down as the answer to that second question. Is there a special gift of skill, expertise, or talent that you are longing to share with this community? Last but not least, I invite you to open your eyes and cast your gaze around the room or the Zoom room. Notice the beautiful people all around you. Alone, it's easy to feel powerless, afraid, and overwhelmed. But together, we change the world. May feelings of gratitude and love fill your body and lighten your spirit. Amen, and blessed be. Our reading this morning is a piece called The Stubborn Gifts of Breath and Life by Maureen Kolorin. And she begins by quoting the poet Adam Zagajewski, translated by Claire Kavanagh, "You must praise the mutilated world." It felt like being on the moon, walking on Mount St. Helens. Just a few years previous, that mountain had blown her top, destroying human and animal and buildings for miles and sharing its ash with the world. As we stepped from our car, we felt that ash drift like talcum around our ankles, rise in the air, enter with our breath. Other than occasional blacked memories of trees, all was gray as far as you could see. Silence seized us for the longest time as we stood there, two irrelevant humans and this huge mutilated world. Only gradually did our eyes slow and our hearts focus. Only gradually did we begin to see what was really before us. How had we overlooked the fireweed, that perennial volunteer, its brilliant buds proclaiming, "Hey world, we're back"? What blocked us from celebrating the eager insect conversations around us? It was right there before us, and we nearly walked away. Overwhelmed by the devastation, we almost missed the tiny pond, its surface literally dancing with more tadpoles than I had ever seen. We do this, you see. We ensnare ourselves with the magnitude of what the poet called the mutilated world. We get busy and troubled and frightened, and then, incongruously, it's time for Thanksgiving. I, at least, need this season to remind myself to be grateful for intermittent beauty and the stubborn gifts of breath and life. Maybe you too, need this season, even if just quietly to say, praise be. There is a way of moving through the world, posture awake and alive, open to awe and wonder, deeply moved by beauty and by kindness, full of empathy and care for those who are suffering. You know what I'm talking about? This is how we strive to be. This is how we are meant to be. Yet there are times, I confess, when I get so busy or distracted or stressed or discouraged or depressed that I feel like I'm moving around in a trance. In the words of Mary Oliver, I'm so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Some days I skid into evening, exhausted, irritable, weighed down by compassion fatigue and a sense of powerlessness. All I see is the world's brokenness. Somehow I lose my grasp on the beauty and the mystery that keep me going. For Mary Oliver, in the poem, it's the trees that call her back. But for me, well, okay, trees help. But really, what calls me back is you. I think we call each other back. I believe that the practice of gathering in religious community supports us in living whole, holy, and hopeful lives. So I want to begin by offering gratitude to those of you who are here, whether in person or online. There are other things you could be doing with your time. There are other places you could be, and we are enriched by your presence here among us. I am enriched by your presence here and in my life. To be together today, to say yes to this time set apart, we had to say some no's. William Ury, in his book, The Power of a Positive No, writes, "Thanks to the knowledge revolution, we have more information and more choices than ever before, but we also have more decisions to make and less time to make them, as the pace of life picks up greater speed with each so-called labor-saving technological advance. The boundaries between home and the workplace are eroding as work reaches people by cell phone and email, anywhere, anytime. The rules are also eroding, and the temptation to cut corners and bend ethical standards is powerful. Everywhere, people are finding it hard to set and maintain boundaries. No is today's biggest challenge. And perhaps the most important skill for us to work on. Ury offers a lot of practical tips on how to offer clear and kind no's in his book, but the key takeaway for me is that what helps us say no is our commitment to a deeper yes, our sense of purpose. He describes how to stay on track, writing, "Take a deep breath and focus on your purpose, your yes in this situation. Ask yourself what you really want and what is really important here." In other words, shift from being reactive and focused on no to being proactive and focused on yes. My friend and colleague, the Reverend Tandy Rogers, likes to talk about holy no's and holy yeses. A holy yes is a yes that you feel in every cell of your body. It gives you goosebumps. It comes with a surge of energy. A holy no is any no that paves the way, opens space for that holy yes. The yeses that we give begrudgingly, the ones that maybe cause us to feel a little bit of resentment or frustration, should probably be no's. But we need to be careful not to say no just because we're afraid of change. Another friend and mentor, Yobanzi Charles Johnson of blessed memory, once said to me, "In life, we should always move toward the things that make us feel joyful and also towards the things that scare us." I don't think he meant that I should go bungee jumping. But I've remembered his words and felt his gentle hands on my shoulders whenever I've been pulled or called to do or say something brave and a little outside of my comfort zone. One technique that helps me find some of the subtler yeses and nos is a version of the Ignatian practice of praying the examen. In the evening, as part of my winding down, I take a few moments and center myself and reflect on my day, asking, again, 2 questions. I don't know what it is about 2 questions, but they seem to be effective. What sucked my energy today? And what filled me with joy or wonder or hope or energy? There's no judgment or self-recrimination allowed when I do this practice, only just a gentle curiosity. And over time, naturally and effortlessly, things shift, the balance shifts, so that saying no to the energy-sucking things and giving more time and attention to activities and people that fill the well becomes a normal process. Now, our children's story today had some sweet insights on how all this works. Annabelle's sweaters were a kind of blessing, were they not? Bringing color and beauty to the world and warmth, tangible gift. And remember her first friend who scoffed? Well, he just needed a sweater of his own. And the grumpy teacher? Well, he needed a sweater too. But I loved that the guy who doesn't wear the sweaters, the guy in the shorts and the t-shirt, he doesn't want a sweater, so he gets a hat. We get to set limits on how and when and what kind of blessing we're willing to accept, as well as making decisions about the blessings we want to offer. The key moment in the story is when the Archduke stole the magic yarn box and the yarn went away. We can only offer love and beauty that comes from inside us. No one gets to steal anyone else's purpose. We can't covet other people's gifts. Rather, it's our job to cultivate our own. Also, if we try to live according to other people's expectations of us, instead of honoring our own sense of call and purpose, we will always come up empty. Each of us has a magic box of our own, a limitless source of creative energy and love and joy. It just sometimes gets buried or forgotten or lost. So one of the things we do here at church is we help one another remember and reclaim our creative gifts. That's why that second question in our meditation is important. When I think about other things that get in the way of living a full, meaningful, and joyful life, another children's book comes to mind called The Phantom Toll Booth. Has anybody read The Phantom Toll Booth? Maybe it's been a while. It's by Norton Juster. It's the story of a boy named Milo who goes on an epic adventure to save the kingdom of wisdom by rescuing its princesses, Rhyme and Reason, from the castle in the air, which is high above the mountains of ignorance. His companions are Talk, a clockwork dog, and the Humbug, an arrogant, anxious know-it-all. Now, early on in the story, Milo nearly gets stuck in the doldrums. The doldrums are a dank gray swamp, and they're populated by lethargians, a group of colorless beings who do absolutely nothing on a very strict schedule. Now, what gets Milo out of the doldrums? How does he escape? By daydreaming, by using his imagination, by engaging his mind to think his way out. Imagination is the key to escaping those mindless tasks that try to suck up our time and our life energy. We need to put down the phones and turn off the screens and give ourselves permission to let our minds wander. This is such an important part of being healthy and staying sane. Kids need unprogrammed playtime, but so do grown-ups. Later, Milo almost falls into a trap set by the terrible Trivium, a demon who dwells in the mountains of ignorance. This demon sets impossible tasks for all travelers seeking to go up the mountain, and Milo is only able to escape him by first doing the math and figuring out that the task he was assigned would take him 874 years to complete, and then by assigning the terrible trivium, a pointless task all his own. What this scene made me think about are all of those worthy tasks that feel impossible. Things like breaking down systemic oppression, building a world where everyone is supported and free, aggressing global warming, charting a path to peace in the Middle East. There's so many on that list. But what the story points to is that what would take one person 874 years would take 870 poor people 1 year. If you had 10,488 people, you could finish in a month. 319,010 could do it in a single day. And if just half the people in the world pitched in, just half of us, it would take less than a second. See, I can do math too. Now, you may be wondering what all of this has to do with volunteering at church. So I'm going to let you in on a secret that yet another mentor told me when I was a brand new minister. Everything we do here, all of those committees and tasks and teams and projects, they're all basically an excuse to practice being human in community. This whole place, everything we do here is designed to help us figure out how to be better people. We learn how to get along, how to solve problems, how to create something that will outlast us and make a difference to future generations. We create a space where people can reclaim their birthright gifts and share them. We bear witness to one another's gifts. We celebrate one another's gifts. We gush over the artwork on the walls and the songs that the choir sings and those weird things made out of pipe cleaners and clay that the kids bring down to coffee hour. We listen. We listen to each other's stories and poems and jokes. This is a place that is hospitable to the creative spirit. And there aren't enough of those spaces in our lives. So having this place matters. Every week, we offer time to daydream and think and imagine better ways. Every week in worship, we take a pause from the hustle and bustle. We let our minds soar or sink deep. The difference between a lecture and a worship service is that a lecture is about imparting knowledge, while worship is an invitation to seek and claim your own wisdom. I always take it as a compliment if you say, you said something and it sent me down a rabbit hole and I didn't hear the rest of what you said. That's success. We offer companions who are willing to work shoulder to shoulder with you on all of those impossible tasks. Now, not everyone signs on to every cause, but we're all doing something to help clean up the messes we see in the world. And we cheer each other on. We help as we're willing and able. Together, we've made a huge difference to our local community. And we've also inspired other UU congregations across the country, and that work matters too. I don't disagree with the poet. The world is mutilated, and it is so easy to be ensnared by the magnitude of it. Yet the response we choose, those of us who said yes to being here today or on any day, the response is to praise and cry and laugh, to walk slowly and bow often, to find that one outward. This response makes us ambassadors of goodness out in that mirror weed, insisting on blooming and buzzing around, pollen. Other, and in choosing, we bless the world. So be it, and so may it be. I invite you to rise now in body or spirit. We're going to sing together number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky.
Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faith, our quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why, in our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between, to follow a star, to build a dream. Touch the earth, reach the sky, hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Touch the earth, reach the sky, soar with courage ever high, spirits joining as we fly, to touch the earth, to reach the sky.
Seated. Our closing reading is Choose to Bless the World by Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. Let's sing together our benediction, There is Love. To extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. Beloveds, go forth and bloom and buzz and laugh and sing and become ever more fully a part of what we are creating together. And I don't mean here at church only, I mean in the world. The new world we are weaving out of our best selves, out of our best intentions. May we give ourselves to that great project, and may it bear fruit in the years to come. Go in peace. Come back next Sunday.